Ladies and gentlemen, the greatest show to hit YouTube's internet web service, whether it's Google Chrome or Safari, is back on YouTube. It is none other than Team Talk. It's back. I'm sorry it's taken a little while. We've basically had to find new locations, get ready to shoot in the right place, get the right people on here. But it is back, and we're back for the team of the season, excluding Man City and Arsenal players, which will be in the title. But joining me today, in the left corner, he's wearing grey. He looks like a PE teacher. It's none other than Joe Tomlinson.
Yes, sir. No, but are you hot or cold, though? I actually need to know. You're in a jumper and shorts, bro.
Well, I was anticipating, when I came in this morning, it was very sunny but slight chill to it. So this jumper will be coming off this afternoon. I'll reveal a shorts t-shirt combo.
This is a pump cover.
Yeah.
So he's going to take it after he's had some protein, after he's done some press-ups in the loos, he'll rip it off.
That's what you're doing there. Fair enough.
Okay, and joining him on the brown chairs is a guy that's very nervous today, as Sunderland will be taking on Luton Town in the second leg. They're winning. How are you feeling, Dukes?
Yeah, very nervous about that. Very nervous. By the time this goes out, you will know the result, of course. Hopefully, we're in the playoff final.
You have lost by that.
No, don't do that, man. Don't add I need Diallo to have a banger still.
And on the right corner, in a black chair, wearing a black hoodie, he's got a back injury. It's Sam Abasaki.
And that's why I'm struggling to lean forward into the mic. But I'm all good. I just like to say that I'm a two-time champion, everyone. My Saturday team, we won the league and we won the cup.
Oh, I thought you meant of this show.
Definitely not one here.
Not this show or Stat Wars. I'm out of that league. But yeah, you can congratulate me in your own time.
Congrats.
And Patrick Van Straten is our fourth member.
No intro for me.
Talking to the mic,
his
bruv.
daughter's birthday today.
I'm so sorry. It is my daughter's birthday today. She's 2 years old. It's been 2 years of magic, being a dad. I had good preparation being your dad before that, Zach. Yeah, it's all good.
Facts.
Let's go, Coco.
Facts. Okay then, guys, you've been here before. Our first part of the game is start, bench, drop. Okay, so I've gone with a few different categories for start, bench, drop, and our first one is going to be Premier League wingers. Your three players are, guys, Bukayo Saka, Jack Grealish, and Riyad Mahrez. Please write down your answers.
All right.
Just waiting on Sam.
As usual. Come on, Sam, bro.
Bro, this isn't easy. They're all quality players, bro.
It's quite easy.
Let me start off calm, I don't want to be too controversial in it.
3, 2, 1. Show your boards. Okay.
Whoa.
Saka at the bottom
Dukes.
for Dougie.
So the three of us agree.
Dougie, fight your case, my friend.
To be clear, I'm
mean,
doing, as of right now,
Okay,
who
fair,
needs to be
fair,
dropped.
fair.
And
Mahrez.
out of all of them, I think Saka needs a rest. His form recently has not been very good
Well,
at
Mahrez
all.
doesn't, because he's actually been dropped.
No, Mahrez is already on the bench. He's fresh. He's ready to come on to games, affect
Mental.
them towards the end of the year. Saka needs a rest. Grealish's form's actually been really good this calendar year. I think he's been really, really good. Underrated throughout his entire time at Man City. So right now, if we're going over their entire careers, sure, I start Saka, but right now...
Well, over their entire careers, you start Mahrez.
You start a game
What?
and you're looking to the bench, you need someone to change the game, and you see Mahrez or Saka, you'd rather have Mahrez.
Absolutely.
Saka's
right
wearing his suit.
as it stands, Saka
waffle.
looks knackered.
And
Saka's form is
Yeah, but he's on the bench. He's already on the bench. And he could be on the bench. He doesn't need to be
Mahrez,
dropped.
completely fresh. He's used to this bench role. Saka's not.
Oh my
I back
God.
Mahrez to have a bigger impact towards the end of the season than
what?
Saka.
You know what I would say, yeah, and I was almost with you, but I thought let me not be too controversial. But because you've done it, I'm gonna say as well, yeah. Now that the going's got tough, I can't lie. Grealish has got going and Saka's, you know what I mean? So I can understand that, but if we're talking about the whole season, I'll say Saka deserves to start.
I agree with that.
Bench Grealish. But at the same time, Mahrez is difficult because his quality is there. I don't think it's the fact that he's not good enough. I just think that Pep's trying to, freshen up his team in general. But yeah, man, it's not easy.
I swear Saka scored in pretty much every big game for us this season.
Oh, you've had quite a few tough games in the last few weeks, and he's not been present.
Yeah, he's been tired.
Yeah,
Exactly. Perfect
and
time for a
Grealish
drop.
No, but yeah,
And
to
Grealish
the
is still
bench,
playing
not
Champions
like dropped out of the side.
He's got one goal in his last
Yeah, but
seven,
I'm saying
that's
that
how I recorded.
you've dropped him entirely.
If we're going on my
he's
logic
better than
of right
Mahrez.
now, I think he is the player that needs to be dropped most because Mahrez is fresh. I think Mahrez has probably more experience of coming off the bench as
Dropping
well.
him
In the
Grealish
most
is
unique,
one of the
specific set of circumstances that Dougie has created for himself.
I got told
Only
by
you could
Zach,
say
who should start, who should bench, who should be dropped.
Only
I
you
went
could
on
say
right now.
I think
now.
it's
experience
some reason.
coming off the bench. So like experience of not playing regular football.
Mahrez is-
somehow makes him
Mahrez-
better option
always
than
ready,
like
though. He's
playing
always
regular
very
football.
good. Well, like it doesn't matter whether he
He
plays
was
30
crap
minutes,
for literally
50
the
minutes.
first 2/3 of the season.
Right now,
Very harsh.
he's in better
Very, very
form than
harsh.
Saka.
I think
How
we
would we
sometimes
know?
go a little too literal when we do this. The whole idea, I think, around this is basically who's the best, who's second best, who's third
Yeah,
best.
I mean,
Could you have stipulated that at the start? Yes, you
But-
could have.
okay.
Well, when
we-
we get
we
Hamill
all
back,
worked
where
it
is
out.
Hamill?
all worked it out.
I slightly like the way.
I like that. I do like
Oh my
Dougie's
God,
interpretation.
Because it
Sam.
makes sense.
Guys,
'Cause
come
if
on
we're-
over. Come on
Sam,
over.
Sam is
Bring me
drawn
the
to a
points.
bad take like a moth to a flame.
It actually makes sense. If we're being completely honest, yeah, right now, if you're looking at both players, you will start Grealish and Saka will be on the bench. Dropping him is a stretch, yeah. But if we're talking about right now, Grealish is starting, bro. He's on form.
Disagree. If you were to give me a one-game shootout, I would rather be starting Bukayo Saka, even though he's slightly out of form.
What, right now?
Yeah. If there was a Champions League final tomorrow,
He ain't even played the competition.
let's bear in
Talk
mind-
about Champions League final. Grealish is talking about.
That's fine.
being
Grealish doesn't
there.
even
remind me
start
how
for
Grealish did in the
England.
World Cup compared to Saka.
Yeah.
Grealish was the competition before. Grealish was the main man. Saka was. I mean,
Grealish was the main man.
Grealish
has
never
never been
he's
the
never
main
been the
man.
main
Grealish
man
was
at
coming off the
City.
bench and he was changing the game
And Saka
every
was
single
starting.
time.
What are we talking about here?
But
Like,
it's
When
also-
you
this is
needed
six-
someone
this is
to
5, 6 months ago.
Also, let's be
someone
clear.
to save you, Grealish was that man.
let's be
Grealish is
clear.
fantastic.
Grealish has been involved in fewer goals than Bukayo Saka this season. Okay, and let's be honest as well. You said wingers. Grealish isn't really playing as a winger this season. He's like notionally stationed on the left, but really he's coming into the centre. Saka is actually Saka can play as a proper winger and can come inside. Grealish really has to play as a kind of hybrid attacking mid. Mahrez actually can play like a winger as well. Saka's the best winger of these guys. Grealish is having a great
I
season
agree, but
where
I'm
he's
just
been
saying,
involved in
right now,
fewer goals for a
If
better
we went
attacking
across
side.
the entire season, which is I think what Zach was
Yeah.
trying to design, I would admit that I put Saka to start, put Grealish on the bench, I put Mahrez to be dropped. But right now,
Well,
Saka needs,
You know
Saka
what?
needs a rest.
You know what? Point all round. You guys agreed, and I like that
Mad.
Doogie kind. I like Doogie's
Mad.
No, I
outside
hear it,
thinking.
man. I hear
However,
it.
for the rest of them, it's for the season. On to our second one of start, bench, drop. David De Gea,
Oh,
Hugo Lloris, and Kepa Arrizabalaga.
oh, gosh, that is jokes. My pen stopped working.
Do you know what?
this is actually mad.
David De Gea, Hugo Lloris, and Kepa Arrizabalaga.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done.
Not happy. Not happy.
You're not happy with this?
Don't like it.
That's the whole point. That was the whole point. Three keepers who have
3, 2, 1. Let's have it then. Kepa starting. I don't be you.
De Gea,
That
Kepa.
Man United bias right now is crazy.
Go on, Joe.
So I'm going for De Gea just because I know that he hasn't had the best season in terms of how he's functioning within that team, and obviously passing out from the back is a massive problem. But he is still a really good shot stopper.
Is he?
He is still
He
a good
is.
shot.
He
He is
is.
still a. If you put him in a team
close
that
range.
all he had to do was save, and it didn't give, nobody cared about his distribution, he'd actually be a fine goalkeeper.
Ben Rama, was it not?
Yeah,
The ball just rolled under his
there's been a
hand.
You
couple
do
of
make
errors.
mistakes.
A couple. Are you
yeah.
man being serious?
Kepa's faultless, is he?
It's not faultless, but David De Gea is the highest paid goalkeeper in the world, right?
We're talking about wages now.
No, but we have to take all of this into consideration. He's supposed to be one of United's most senior players, right?
Yeah.
He has cost you multiple times this season, last season. I've seen a 20-minute compilation of David De Gea stinkers. That doesn't happen with keepers,
But I
bro.
thought we were just
It
basing
does
it on
happen
this
with
season.
Kepa.
It doesn't though.
Well,
It
Kepa-
does.
Kepa makes no errors.
He does.
Kepa has made more
no,
errors than saves.
That's just not
Across
true.
his
And
shows.
he starts for you though, Pat. Why does he start
There's a
for you?
reason he's starting for you.
Yeah,
because you know David De
he's good
Gea-
now. He's good at the moment. My issue is that with De Gea,
Is he good now?
when
though?
De Gea has a
They're
bad
11th,
much better.
12th.
when De Gea has
Much better.
has a bad shot, that's not because I don't think that's because of him. Come on, like when De Gea has a bad shot stopping game, you get nothing out of him. And there were games at the beginning of the season, particularly that Brentford game, which he pretty much single-handedly cost the team. Kepa has had the best shot-stopping season of these three guys. Obviously, De Gea much better across his career, but right now it's Kepa, DDG. I mean, Lloris.
Yeah, it's got to be.
That's-
I do think the Lloris slander started about 5 years before it should have. He had a couple of seasons where he was really good, and it was just kind of like the received opinion. Everyone was like, I know I can like dunk on Lloris, and no one will tell me I'm wrong. But actually, Lloris was better for longer than people thought. But now he's crap. Spurs are crap, so bottom.
I just
United
think,
are crap, much worse than everyone claims
I
they've
just
been all
think that
season.
the
But
reason-
I think that's perfectly reasonable.
Yeah, I think that
I don't think it's reasonable at all, man.
Kepa, by post expected goals, blah blah blah, has had a better season than David De Gea, but there are just so many intangibles in Kepa's game that I feel like the statistics don't pick up.
Weakling.
Like I feel
So
like
if you had both of those keepers in front of you right now, and you had to go into a final, same thing that you said before. Your
final?
with what team? Because if it's a ball playing team, I'd probably take Kepa.
Most teams are ball playing. Now,
Honestly,
if you're top team right now, you're playing out from the back. Yeah. So who are
Newcastle
you?
don't really.
Who are you taking? Who are you taking?
Yeah, I agree. For Newcastle, I would probably take David De Gea.
You
But
know
for
everyone. You know everyone
another
else.
team?
You're taking
For
Kepa.
Barcelona, I would probably take Kepa.
Okay, Dougie, your list.
Yeah, I went Kepa, Lurie, De Gea. I mean, it was like choosing between which unwanted wart you want removed first. I don't think the list is very attractive. I've wanted
whole
Lurie
point.
and De Gea out of Man United and Spurs for a while. I think they've both held back those clubs. If they were selling here, you'd probably put Kepa as the sell. Just because he's probably got the most value left out of all of them, given De Gea's wages as well. I think Kepa's had the best season out of them by a distance. Lurie and De Gea, it's pretty tight, but at the moment you can bench Lurie and play Fraser Forster, drop De Gea, bring in a new goalkeeper. I think Man United will do that this summer. It was a really tight one.
Yeah, it's very, very tight.
I can't believe you. You're looking at me, cleaning my eyes,
It's not
telling me
that bad.
It is.
It's not that bad.
He supports United, so he's seen it direct.
He's
what
not saying
Gea's
De
done.
Gea's amazing.
No, but even
I might
Kepa,
change
we know
it
he-
just because it's pissing me off.
we know he was very expensive. Yeah, we know that Kepa.
Understatement.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, if you want to talk about wages, let's talk about transfer
but
fees, you know?
But at the same time, if we're talking this season, I think it's.
Yeah, do you think De Gea's had a better season than Kepa?
I think it's pretty close.
It's going to end it in the
I think it's
Champions
pretty
League.
close. One team's 12th, and who's got the better defensive record?
12.
Okay,
I think they've
okay.
actually
11th,
conceded the
actually.
same
Time,
number of goals.
time
We're
is
11th.
They've both
called.
conceded the
Time
same
is
number
called. Point to Joe.
Thanks, mate.
Can
Point to
I-
Joe. Defended well.
Can I make a request before we start the
You
next
need to
round? Put your phone on Do Not Disturb.
So we've had players that are obviously at the top of the table. We've had people that aren't necessarily been playing well this season, and now we're looking towards the bottom of the table of players
We've
who
already done that,
could
haven't we?
be
Chelsea.
relegated. Nice one.
Thank you.
James Maddison,
Oh.
Morgan Gibbs-White, and Declan Rice. Start, bench, drop. Joe's done. Pat's done.
Dougie's done.
Dougie's done. Sam is done.
Phone.
Okay, guys, on three. 3, 2, 1. Gibbs-White, Rice. Who's yours?
Sorry.
Rice. Okay, cool.
Do
So
we three agree?
Doogie, you've got Gibbs-White at the top and
Yeah.
Rice at the bottom.
That was just a
For
question
sure.
mark.
I think given their own abilities and what we expected for them at the start of the season, Gibbs-White's probably had the best year of all of them. Going into a chaotic club that had signed, 23 players. He's basically been the reason I think they stayed up. I know Brennan Johnson had that great run of form, but I think
Still could
Gibbs-White...
go down.
They could. But Gibbs-White has been absolutely exceptional. I think Maddison has been brilliant as well. Rice... For the first 5-6 months of the season, we were all saying, he's not been quite at it. And I think people were kind of defending him because he's Declan Rice. He's obviously a great person, England's future in that midfield. But I think he's probably had the weakest season out of the three of them.
But I feel like what you're doing is you are basically putting West Ham's problems onto the back of Declan Rice. Because West Ham have had such a step back in team performance in terms of league position, you're basically going, Rice has not had a good
Yeah,
season.
but then also by that same argument, why have you got Morgan Gibbs-White at the bottom when he's the reason, the primary reason why Forest have a chance of staying
I
up?
think he's certainly had moments, Morgan Gibbs-White, but there's been massive proportions of the season where Nottingham Forest have been absolutely horrendous and he's contributed nothing.
I agree, but so has Rice had games. I remember that game they lost 4-0 against Brighton. Rice was one of the main reasons they lost 4-0 against Brighton on that one game. I know it's only one game, but I feel like up until recently, Rice hasn't been at his best this year, whereas Maddison and Gibbs-White, for me, have had better individual
I don't
seasons.
really think that's true. I think if you look at Rice's numbers across the season, then they're actually remarkably consistent. And the problem is that, if you don't watch 90 minutes of a central midfielder all the time, it is quite hard to appreciate what they do well. So you tend to see the highlights and you tend to see the moments where they give up goals or whatever. Whereas with Gibbs-White, those moments are exactly the things you see. I think Gibbs-White is a very young player. He's super talented, but he just drifts in and out of games because that's what happens.
Well, that's also
with
his role.
No, it
But
isn't.
you're kind of
It
giving
isn't-
credit
it
to
isn't his
Declan
role.
Rice for always being involved in
It is-
games when that's his position.
No, I'm saying that Rice... I'm not saying he's always involved in games. I'm saying that he consistently does the same thing in games. I'm saying that Rice very rarely has a bad game. Rice's good games are pretty frequent. Most of the time, he's consistent. if you are going to start one of these players, Rice is pretty much going to give you what you expect he's going to give you. Morgan Gibbs-White might have a good game, might do literally nothing. And I think Gibbs-White and Brennan Johnson have had unbelievably overrated seasons.
Really?
Like I think that
Gibbs-White is technically fantastic.
No,
he's such a good player.
But technically fantastic. Like Will Zaha's technically fantastic. But the point is, he's really young, and you don't expect him to take games by the scruff of the neck yet, which is why I don't start him. These two guys are reliable contributors, and they're going to give me what I expect.
I think Rice has been good in a poor
I think
team.
Gibbs-White
I think
has to be
Gibbs-White
bottom
has been
here.
very good in a very bad team.
I think
that has
Gibbs-White-
been a mess for
I
most
think
of the
Gibbs-White
season.
has
think
been
very good
interesting.
as a stretch.
Go on, Sam.
I think very good as a stretch. I think for Nottingham Forest, he's been in and out. Like I've seen a handful of games where I've said, yeah, that's the guy. But at the same time, sometimes you watch these games and he's just non-existent. For Rice and Maddison, like even yesterday, for example, when they lost 3-0 to Liverpool, I still saw moments of Maddison. It's like you can still see that quality. He's still trying. He's not letting the situation overcome him and affect his performances. He's still being that guy for his team. I think they have also proven that over a longer period, so it's a bit tougher. But yeah, I think Rice has to start because he's the most consistent. Maddison could even be starting, to be honest. But I think in his position, Rice is he's just always dropping. Yes, you could say the first 5-6 months wasn't what you expected because of what he's done previously, but it wasn't that bad. I think everything around him was worse and made him look worse. But yeah, I think Rice has to start.
I think they're playing in better sides, to be honest.
Okay,
Even
okay.
if the table
I
doesn't
agree with
suggest
that.
it.
I agree
Okay,
with that.
that is time. Point all round. I liked your
fence
shout.
sitting
Ziggy.
today, Zach.
I
Yeah,
liked
you're
Yeah,
too
you are.
kind.
From me.
Bring back Chris Hamill, man.
Okay, moving on to our main section now. We're talking about the team of the season. We're going to go by position, lads, as well. So obviously I think there'll be some that you probably agree on. It'll be quite quick. There'll be some that you don't, and we might have to spend a little bit more time on. So please, we're going with goalkeeper first.
Do we
Now
just write
remember-
the one name, yeah, and then
Just the one name. Now remember, this is players that don't include Arsenal or Manchester City. You've got the other 18 options. 3, 2, 1. Leno, Raya, Allisson. Okie
I will walk out the room.
Thought this one might be a little bit easy, to be honest.
Kind of fair.
They are fair. They are fair. Joe, you got your hand on your head, please.
We're talking
Expand.
about the best goalkeeper in the world. Again, this
It's
season.
the best goalkeeper in the world. It's about this season.
Yeah, we're talking, and he's been the best goalkeeper in the world.
He has
this
not.
season.
Ter
Maybe
Stegen-
alongside
Ter
Ter
Stegen-
Stegen.
Ter
maybe.
Stegen's
All right,
been the best goalkeeper in the
best
world.
goalkeeper in the
Right.
Premier League.
He's
Definitely.
got off to a bad start.
Okay, but
Is he not the best? Is he the best goalkeeper in the Premier League?
Yes,
Has he
but
had the
that
best
doesn't-
goal season?
No,
than any goalkeeper
I
in
think
the Premier League?
comparative to
Oh
the team
my
he's
God.
playing in,
Yeah.
Leno has saved just as much post shot.
No, he hasn't.
He
Not,
has.
not
10.
quite. He's
They're-
close.
10.
They're just about level in Europe. Leno is defending behind the worst defence in the league according to post shot, according to expected goals against. Fulham would not be where they were without Leno and João Palhinha.
But that's true of all goalkeepers, though, right? Like, that's true
What
of
are we
Liverpool as
talking
well.
about?
But like,
They wouldn't even be in contention for a top 4 spot without Allisson.
To be honest,
I
neither of
agree,
these guys
I
makes
agree,
any
but
difference whatsoever.
he's
None
playing
of
on
these
the
teams have
start.
done anything.
You know what it is? I feel like Allisson is so good, yeah.
That's it,
it's
end of argument.
No. But it's one of them ones where for me, and the way I've done my team, he's been performing at a level that we know he's at, yeah. But there's other keepers.
What, is the best in the world, potentially?
But we can't. Obviously, he's up there, but he hasn't been the best in the world this
so
year.
how can
yeah.
he not be the best outside of
for
Arsenal
me,
City?
the reason why I picked Ray, yeah, Brentford.
This is a
would not-
horrible shout.
It's not. Brentford, and he's in my FPL, so I know how well he's done this season, yeah. Brentford would not be in the position that they're in if not for the way he plays at the back, the way he has been for them this season. Leno is another good shout because they're in a similar position, their league position. But you can't tell me. I almost put Nick Pope as well, actually, but that howler against Liverpool, I was just like, yeah, we're not doing that. But you can't tell me that he hasn't contributed as much as every other keeper to their team's success this season. You're saying Allisson, they're almost making Champions League football, but that doesn't mean that he should suddenly be in that conversation of, he's the best goalkeeper, because he's not.
The simple fact is that like Liverpool are going to end the season probably in 5th. And I don't really think Allisson has made a great deal of difference to their season, despite the fact that he has been the best goalkeeper in the league. I don't deny that. If Leno had come in and
He's the best goalkeeper in the league. You
if
just said it.
Leno had come in and been bad, Fulham would have been relegated. If he'd come in and been okay, Fulham would still have been in with a shout of getting relegated. But because he's been good, they haven't been in danger all season long. And that is pretty much down to Leno. So Leno, arguably has been one of the factors that will like legit
I just
change
can't
the
believe this.
future of Fulham.
can't
I don't
believe
think
this.
that Liverpool's future is any
Yeah,
different.
Liverpool
What,
have
you
had a
don't think-
poor season, and I'm not saying Allisson has, but
It's been
Liverpool
crap.
finishing 5th is a bit of a disaster, really, considering where we thought they were going to be at the start of the year. Fulham can't finish
They're
lower
still
than
in the
10th.
hunt for 4th as we record today.
No,
Yeah, but they
for
might
sure,
not get
but, like,
it.
And that's
fourth
almost
is a
solely down
bad
to
season when
Allisson.
you're going
It's
for
not
a
solely
quadruple
down.
last year.
Maybe
That's
two
not
players.
true. But Salah deserves a lot of credit for that. Gakpo's turned up in the last few months as well. I just think
can't believe what I'm hearing.
Leno, like without Leno, Fulham would be in massive trouble.
Yeah.
They've had a better individual season than Liverpool as a whole, and Leno's the main reason. For
Well, I don't know why you're so annoyed about it. We agree with you that Allisson is the best
Cool.
keeper in the league. We're just saying that Leno's impact on his side is bigger than Alisson's.
Points to Dougie and Pat, please.
agree.
That's not me agreeing that Leno is
Yeah,
deserves to be in the
no,
team.
yeah,
I agree.
really
It is
is.
just
I agree.
with the
Yeah,
way
it
things
is.
were
Yeah,
debated.
Otto wants to change his.
I
by the
would
way.
have changed still. I agree with
And
that.
Sam would have changed. Perfect. So points
Well,
to
do I get a
Dougie
point?
and Pat, you don't. Okay, moving on to right back now.
This is zero. debate.
Okay,
Zero debate,
3,
zero debate.
2, 1. Trippier. Trips. Okay, thought I said Trent.
Oh,
Perfect.
Trips.
No need to
Yeah.
even debate on
Didn't know your boy.
that. No need to debate on that. On to our 2 centre backs now, please.
I don't like my second selection. I'm fine with my first one.
Okay, well,
There's quite a few options.
3, 2, 1. Dunk me. Botman. Martinez. Martinez, Botman, Dunk, Martinez. So Martinez is on all your boards but Dougie's. Why have you gone for
I
Ben
like
Mee?
him. I think he's a great player, but he's been injured for too long, really, at the back end of this year. I think Man United, it's not his fault that he's injured, obviously, but I just wanted to reward 2 players that have played far more minutes and I think had arguably just as bigger impact, if not a bigger impact, on their individual teams.
I don't know. I think that is the
cop-out.
individual.
It's starting to be a cop-out.
I think obviously he's injured at the moment, yeah, but you can't tell. Even
he messed them up.
even the impact that he has had up until his injury is the reason why they're probably going to get Champions League football.
Yeah, but you look at Dunk's Brighton, like they're in the shout for European football. No one expected that. Ben Mee's Brentford, most people thought they were going to struggle this season, particularly after missing out on Ericsson. Mee's been excellent. I think Dunk has been probably the most underrated Premier League centre-back in the league for quite a while.
Are we doing underrated teams here?
No,
I thought we were
Dunk,
doing
Yeah.
best.
Dunk's
Exactly.
had a brilliant season by his own right. Most passes completed in the entire league. I think he's over 91%.
He's played over like 40 games.
Like
as
That's
well,
fine.
he is the
something like
key to De Zerbi's system, in my opinion. Like baiting forwards onto him. Like, he's been absolutely excellent. I won't just have
He
it
has been
that
good.
He's
He has been good.
underrated. He's had a great year,
I
and he
agree.
deserves to be on the England squad. If it was, if there was a World Cup this summer, I'd love him to go.
I
Sure.
agree, but Ben Mee has not been as good as Botman this
I
year.
disagree. I think Botman's had some really shaky games.
I don't even know if
recently,
Mee's Brentford's
particularly
best
against Nottingham
centre-back.
Forest when I was watching recently. I think Botman has slightly fallen apart. Not fallen apart, slightly fallen off from a great level at the start of the year. I just think Dunk deserves to be in it. I'd be happy with Lisandro Martinez, but
I'd happily put Dunk in. I'd happily put
Yeah,
Dunk
I
in
would Dunk to
over
contender.
the Bartman. Like, I'm not that into him, but like Lisandro Martinez, I think is clearly the best option here.
Yeah, 100%.
I think Martinez was
I'll-
nailed
I'll-
on.
Ben Mee.
Exactly. Out of City and Arsenal, I think Martinez,
So
especially because of the
you're going
hype.
to change the
I'll put Dunk on.
No, I'm just sorry. I didn't mean to run man out. I was just doing it.
I will put Dunk.
You're going to
Dunk
put
in.
Dunk in for Botman.
Well,
Okay.
look, I do think that, like, I don't know. When people start talking about, the passing and all that kind of stuff, like, I do think that certain teams, their systems just juice those numbers, in the same way that, like, I wouldn't give Botman total credit for Newcastle's amazing defensive record this season. Like, you just can't do it. But I do think that Dunk plays in a more demanding side. I think he has had to change manager mid-season, which does have different demands, even though there are similarities. And I think Dukes is right. I do think Dunk is generally underrated, whereas I think that Botman we're potentially overrating a little bit because of Newcastle's team-wide performance. But honestly, this second centre-back slot I think is super debatable. I just think that slot 1 is Martinez with a bullet. It has to be.
Okay.
I got Martinez and Dunk.
So
But
you
I will
Martinez
change
and
Dunk.
Well, I think Dougie gets a point for his Dunk case.
Yeah, that's a good case.
okay.
And I think you both get a point for having now the same one.
Love
No,
that.
because I've changed it, so he should get a point because I've changed it to his.
Okay, yeah, Sam gets a point.
I don't get a point because I changed my mind.
Dougie and Sam get the point there. Okay, moving on to our left back now
Grim.
as well.
Yeah. Options are thin.
Options were interesting, that's for sure.
They're just not about like. When I was looking, I was like, fam, maybe I could play left back in the Prem.
Spoiler, you cannot.
3, 2, 1. Shaw, Estupinan, Shaw, and Moreno. January signing, Moreno.
It's
Why
the
Shaw in
man.
brackets?
I wanted to shout Shaw out, but I don't think you can technically classify because he's played so many minutes at centre back now. I
Okay.
don't feel like you can really classify him as the left back guy just because he's spent as much time almost at centre back as he has at left back at times this season. I wanted to shout out Moreno, man. I wanted to get a Villa player in my 11 because they've been so outstanding under Unai Emery. I think he's been one of the signings of the season. I know he's only played half a season, but you know that Aston Villa side, I think taking the third most points in the league since Emery took over. I think Moreno's been a massive part of that. And when he was arriving, I think people were still like, do they need another left back? I think it's just proved blown Digne out of the water. So yeah, I think he's been absolutely sensational since the arrival. But it's only half a season, so I can see.
And
why
Villa
Shaw's
have been
got
lucky.
in there.
That's my argument as well. Villa have been super lucky. They've been on a hot streak, like both finishing and defensive. They're nowhere near as good as their kind of points taken look over the back half of the season. Don't get me wrong, they've improved massively. And I think Moreno, personally, has been fantastic. Same as Ollie Watkins. But they're not as good as they currently look, and I do worry a little bit for Villa.
I think Moreno's as good as he looks, though.
Because they're getting really like keyed into this, like we are back on a Champions League run, and like I worry for them because next season they'll go back.
There's
and
been
it'll be
overperformance in the forward line potentially, but I think Moreno,
Yeah.
I don't think,
that's fair.
he's not overperformed. I wouldn't describe like 3 assists this season. I don't think it's that's massive overperformance across 6 months. For me, he's been one of the outstanding players for Villa this season, and he only came in
But he'd have needed to have been, his level of performance would have had to have been so good for him to make this team this season, having had half a year. Which is why I've gone for Estupinian, who actually is the one guy of all these guys who has played a full season in the particular position that we're talking about here. I mean, admittedly, often they play 3 at the back, or they have played 3 at the back, and like the way that you play fullback for De Zerbi is very different to other sides. But defensively, all his numbers match up to Shaw's. You know, more tackles and interceptions, about the same rate of success in the tackle as good in the air, but really good progressive passing. I think he's got 6 goal involvements in the league, which I think is kind of pretty much the standard for a good fullback. And, you know, it's his first season coming into a team which had sold their previous left wing back for 60 mil. Like, that was not an easy job. Again, change manager mid-season, like adapting to the language. Like, there are really big kind of like question marks about Estupinian joining the league from Villarreal. And I just think he's had a great season. I think he's a great player.
I like it. Sam and Dukes, I want to give you a chance to argue your case.
I was just going to say, I think I hear what you're saying about him, but I think it's hard to look past Shaw just because I hear what you're saying about him playing centre-back like majority of the season.
I saw that as a bonus.
But that's what I was saying. Like,
Sure.
the fact that, you know, you've lost Varane, you've lost Martinez, and then
He's
one
been incredible. He has been
one
incredible. I agree.
constant is Shaw, and it's like he takes competition and it makes him better. And we always say this, but this season he's been that player that you can almost rely on in United's back line. Them finishing Champions League football will be heavily because of his consistency to stay if you do, of him to stay in the team and play at that level.
Yeah, I thought the best individual performance I've seen, or one of the best from a fullback, was by Moreno against Newcastle, and they beat them 4-0, and he made Trippier, our other pick, look terrible on that day. But Shaw, as I said, like I thought it was a bonus that he could play at centre-back, and actually his expected assists, despite playing so much at centre-back, are still higher than Antony, they're still higher than Rashford's. I think he's at 0.14.
Not saying much.
Well, yeah, particularly Antony. But yeah, I think he's had an amazing season playing in a variety of positions, one of their most used players. And I thought he should be the pick, but to be honest, I'd be happy with particularly Estupinian.
Yeah,
Cool. Okay, point to Pat and Joe.
Aye,
Again,
let's go.
not me saying that I don't like Shaw or anything like that. I just like the way people
that is
argue
what
their
you mean,
case. On to our midfielders now, lads. So I want you to put all 3 in this one. We've gone for a 4-3-3. Essentially, this is 3 central midfield roles. You can have an attacker. You can have a more defensive midfielder here.
My midfield
I'm
is very
open
balanced.
to your shouts. Just no Arsenal and no City players. Those are the rules. Wait for Dougie to finish.
Sorry, mate. Right, ready?
3, 2, 1, reveal. Caicedo is in everybody's. Bruno G. Bruno. Okay, same with Sam and Joe. Maddison is back in again. Paulinho is in. Okay, so the big difference by the looks of it is Fernandes is in your 2 and Paulinho and Maddison
this
are in
Fernandes?
your
Yeah, that's
2.
Fernandes.
Yeah, sorry, that's Bruno Fernandes, yeah.
So we got 3 Fernandez's.
Okay, so no Bruno Guimaraes.
No.
Is it because you're a Sunderland fan?
No, it's not. I preferred the other 3 season. I think Bruno Guimaraes has been excellent. I think what a great use of money from them. But I think João Palhinha, I wanted to get him in. I think it's most tackles and interceptions in the entirety of Europe. As we talked about, I don't think Fulham would be in this position that they're in without him and Leno. I think he's been magnificent, particularly in the last few weeks when they've been missing Mitrovic. I think
not as good as
Caicedo kind of
Caicedo.
picks himself. So I've got Caicedo in there. And then Bruno Fernandes was the guy in front. I'm really pleased so many of you guys went for Bruno. I thought he'd be kind of missed out just because Maddison's probably had the more stellar season. But I think by expected goals and assists, he should be on around 24. That's been really poor finishing by lots of United
Don't blame him for that, though.
I know, but he's not. It's not a criticism.
And he's turned into a
he's
massive
not.
leader in that side as well.
Yeah.
With Ronaldo having left, and I think people just don't like him personally, so they struggle to admit his strengths.
Well, and I
Is it
think,
because you don't
well,
like
and
him
I
personally?
Well, I don't like him personally, but that doesn't change the fact that I rate him as a player. I think he's a phenomenal player, but okay, he does have moments of leadership. He also has moments of the exact opposite, where he downs tools big time.
There was that one game.
No, but even when things aren't going his way, he does have very strong energy when he doesn't like how things are going. And fundamentally, I just think Maddison has done an amazing job in a dog team this season. If they stay up, it'll be almost entirely because of him. He's got 19 goals and assists in the Premier League for a crap side. He's also put up his best defensive, best passing, best expected goal numbers, all in the season when the club has basically fallen apart. If they get relegated, it is absolutely not on him. I don't have an issue with putting Bruno Fernandes in, but Maddison has got better expected goal and assist numbers in a worse team. Yeah, I don't know. I just think he kind of deserves a place. The other two for me are pretty much nailed on. I think Palhinha is a weird one because your whole argument for Leno previously was they have got the worst defence in the league by expected goals against, but their DM should be in the team of the
I think
season.
there's more to defence than just your DM, and he's had
not that much more. I mean, that's a big part of it.
Season. Like, how many times have we seen a player from the Premier League lead Europe in any statistic?
Indeed.
It's not that often.
Conte.
Yeah, and
They've both done it.
And they were both exceptional those seasons. Palhinha has been exceptional this year.
I don't
think he
think
deserves
he
to be rewarded.
He
for
has,
it.
mate.
Palhinha has
He's been good.
But he
Let's
hasn't
not
been
go.
Caicedo good.
Let's not go crazy.
Yeah, that's why I've
And he
got both
hasn't
of
been
them.
Bruno G good.
No, exactly.
I think Bruno G has had some.
I'd have put
excellent
Rice in
games.
before
I think he's had
Palhinha.
some games where he's probably not stood out as much as I thought he would. But yeah, I'm happy with Bruno G. Would probably be my fourth.
I was very close to putting Casemiro in as well.
Nah.
But just because of the bands, I think
The
bands
bands are
hold
bad.
him back.
Hasn't
But
played
what,
enough.
what I would say is the reason why I'd put Bruno ahead of Maddison, even though I agree with you because I love Maddison, but he's another player that's been a constant in United's side when Casemiro's been outbanned, when Eriksen had the injury, when he's had to play with a rotation of midfielders, Weghorst, and he's been that player that before I've always been half and half with Bruno because of the
played
other side of his
62
game.
games
But he's been
in all
incredible for
competitions.
United.
on the right wing in central midfield as a 10. I think he's been brilliant.
He's never missed a professional game in his career through injury.
Yeah.
Which is
That's mad.
wild.
He's pretty much goes hell for leather every game except
Yeah,
for that
he does.
Liverpool game.
Yeah, though
Dougie-
sometimes that's a problem though.
Yeah.
Like the constant desire to play hero ball, I do think is a bit of an issue.
Okay, Dougie and Pat get a point in that one, lads. On to
Why?
our
Why? How?
forwards,
Wait, why
please.
does that happen?
Zach loves Palhinha. He's got good taste.
It's just like it's
What?
not
What's
about the
that?
players. It's not about the players.
It is
It's
about
just
the
about
players.
people debating.
Everybody's basically in agreement that me and Sam had the right list.
Yeah,
No one agreed with either.
You
of these.
literally said
Doesn't
Bruno
matter.
Well-
should have been on your team, but you made
list
an
doesn't
argument.
Now you've
That's
got
bollocks.
Fernandez energy because you're crying because you're not having things your way.
On to our front line again. Put all three up top. This one might be the
This
easiest.
is
of
the
them all.
easiest by a mile of the lot.
I don't think it is.
I don't think it is.
I think there are lots of good
I'm
options here.
People, I think at home might be screaming at this one. If it's not a
Gosh.
certain three names.
This guy's had a tough day. It's only 10:30.
It's objectively the best front line.
What have you done?
No, it's completely fine.
Okay, 3, 2, 1.
Oba!
Sorry, man.
What's he put in?
He's not got Kane.
I'm sorry, man.
Nah, I rate that.
I'm sorry.
Oh, but please go
I'm
ahead,
sorry,
mate.
I'm sorry,
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. I'm sorry. You know why? Yeah.
Show me your list.
And this is we've got everything else. We've got everything
Oh,
else.
God.
Matoma. I almost put Matoma in as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
The reason why I've put Toney ahead of Kane, and it's don't
you're
get
an
it twisted. Don't get it twisted. Yeah. I know that Kane has scored more goals.
No, he is
and,
right.
And
Toney's
Kane,
better.
And Kane is,
And contributed more to his team.
but I can't.
Who are going to finish nowhere?
I can't say that though. Like for me, Ivan
can.
Toney, the improvement that we've seen from him this season, with everything that he's been going through, yeah, is incredible, bro. Like the type of player he is, the way he brings his team into the game, the way he causes every defense serious issues.
Nobody's denying he's a good player, but how on earth has he had a better season than Kane?
I just love the idea that like everything he's been going through. What you mean is in like him betting on sport.
No, but like that.
The media attention.
The media attention. You got to take it into consideration. Like, but at the same time,
This
for
is not
me,
an underrated 11.
I know that
20
I know
goals for
that.
Brentford is
I know
more
that.
impressive.
But you can't tell me that scoring that amount of goals for a team like Brentford, getting them into the top half when everyone. This is their second season back into the Prem. They looked very comfortable, and one of the main reasons is because of Ivan Toney and the fact that they've got a striker that can score out of nothing, that is always available. He is a great striker, and Kane,
He's
he
right.
scored more goals, but it's like
Kane has
in an
scored more
Stop
goals.
booing him, he's right.
Kane has scored more goals in a more problematic team at Tottenham. They've been worse
way
actually
more-
than
A team
Premier
that
more
constantly
disruption.
gets penalties for doing nothing.
constantly gets
Wait,
penalties.
Anytime
sorry,
anyone walks,
sorry, I forgot that
nothing.
Ivan Toney never scores penalties.
Okay,
That's
but
not a point for doing
a
nothing,
quarter of
though.
Kane's output is from penalties.
But that shouldn't be a crime to be very good at taking penalties.
Yes, it is.
And
It is
also,
a crime.
Tony is literally
It is a
one of the
crime.
best penalty takers the Premier League's ever
I know.
seen.
I'm just saying that like. It's,
In 6 of the last 8 years,
Oh.
Kane would have won the Premier League Golden Boot with his goal tally. The only 2 times he would have lost it was against himself in 16-17 and when Salah broke the Premier League goal record
What's your point?
originally. This is an almost unheard of level of goal scoring from Kane. It's just because Haaland's been here that everyone's he's gone under the radar. In a team where Son has been rubbish for the vast majority of it.
No creator in the whole
Kulusevski
team.
has not turned up, and Richarlison has probably been the flop of the year. Respect Kane.
They literally have not had a creator in the team all year. He's the only player in the league who scored in over 24
Pat, you went
individual
with
Premier
Kane.
League
He's
matches.
crap. I hate
You went
You went with Kane. You went with Kane, and you're barring against Kane.
Yeah, it's because you guys are acting like putting Ivan Toney in is like the most
exactly, it's not a
ridiculous.
match shout.
It is.
He's got
When
20
Kane is
goals
on
for
there.
Brentford.
When
Choice.
Kane is on there, it is ridiculous.
It's not
He's got 20
ridiculous
goals for
because-
Brentford.
Bro, that's what I'm saying. We're talking about where Brentford are and what they've done in the Premier League this season is heavily relying on Ivan Toney. What
Yeah,
he has done.
he is
what
right.
He's done for the team. I know Kane.
Tony gives so much to that side. He does. Come
Kane
on.
doesn't.
But you didn't
Amazing
go for
outlet.
him.
I know, but I'm just saying. Say these guys ended up like 3 goals apart or something, which is
They're
totally
not
possible.
going to. Kane will finish on over 30.
Kane, he's got 2 games to get another 3, then, right?
Very possible.
Yeah,
He
it's
could finish on-
possible,
he's
but it's
on
not like
29.
nailed on.
guarantee.
He's on 29, isn't he?
Okay, but say they finish like
can't remember.
they could finish easily like 3 or 4 goals apart. That's totally possible. Well, in that
Well,
situation,
Tony's
like,
out for the season, so it's not. He's going to
Okay,
finish on
didn't
over
know that.
30 goals.
No, but okay.
that is a big point.
What,
That's a
what I was
problem.
gonna say is, so you're not taking into consideration the fact that this is his second season in the Prem, yeah, and he's only a few goals off of the best striker that you've seen in 6 or 7 years, whatever you called it. Is that not Kane? Is that not? Is that not?
9 goals off him.
he's not. He's 7
not that-
goals
he's
off
not
it.
that many goals off
29,
him.
Kane, isn't he?
No,
in the
Kane's on
league, in the
27.
Premier League.
All right, so 7 goals off him.
But that's not that crazy for a guy that's just.
Tony is a very good backup. I'd have him on the bench.
Yeah,
You just got
same.
to start Kane.
Would you, in any team in
That is
world
basically
football,
my
pick
feeling.
Tony over Kane?
Brentford. For Brentford.
No, you
yeah.
wouldn't. No, you wouldn't.
No.
I would for Brentford.
You're
Definitely.
mad.
No, I
Definitely.
know.
Ridiculous to say.
I hear what you're
Kane's
saying,
too
but I
mobile
think
for them.
it was harsh for me not to mention Tony today for what he's done in the league.
I think that's fair.
But you didn't
I think
have
that's
to put him
fair.
down.
No, I did.
Okay.
Everyone else would have.
Okay.
No, we're not finished there
All right.
because Pat has picked Matoma
This is
over
what I was going to
Rashford.
say. Matoma over Rashford.
I just don't think you can put Rashford in.
It's a joke, Pat.
He's not been
I
that
hear
good.
him.
He's not
over
been that good.
Rashford.
He's not been that good.
Matoma.
Rashford doesn't really give you anything except goal scoring, and Rashford's got a good goal tally, but not an amazing goal tally.
He had a hot
Where's
streak. He had
Matoma's
a hot
goal
streak.
tally been?
He's at 11 goals and assists in the league, but he gives you a lot of other stuff. That's my issue.
And Rashford
As you were
doesn't.
saying,
16 goals
as you were
himself.
saying before, Rashford doesn't have any expected assist.
No, I
basically,
agree.
he does pretty much nothing. He doesn't offer you any dribbling. Like when Rashford isn't scoring, he gives you literally nothing, and his goal is to score goals from right. That's his job. Mitoma,
And he's done it. He's scored over 30 goals in all comps.
Yeah, but we're not talking about all comps. I'm talking about the Premier League here.
He's
This is the
got
Premier League
16
team of the
goals
season.
in the Prem.
It's the Premier League team of the season. Yeah, but his only job is to score goals, and he scored a good number of goals. Not an incredible number of goals, a good number of goals. Like, you could have easily done some sort of, like, funky front two here to fit in Toney over Rashford, who frankly deserves it more than Rashford. But Mitoma has come into this team and is one of the best progressive passers from wide in the league, one of the best defensive wingers in the league, one of the best dribblers in the league. He leads the league in dribbling into the penalty area, by the way. Grealish has
think he's had a great year.
been
He's
the
been
best.
amazing.
Grealish has been the best in Europe for ages, but this season it goes Mitoma, Alan Saint-Maximin, Grealish.
He's
That's
been-
how good he's
he
been
has
at that.
been amazing. But earlier in the show, you said about Brighton and the system players and
Yeah.
how much players benefit from how specific and excellent that system is. I feel like Matoma has been a big beneficiary of how good Deserby's system is.
I'd say that's in raw passing numbers, and I don't think the system. I don't think the system.
has dragged United through games with no system.
Yeah,
But then there have been
I
times
kind
where
of agree
United
with
have been
Joe.
crap and
I
Rashford's
think
done
I
nothing.
think that is a key.
Sorry, I thought Ten Hag had done miracles.
not this year.
Sorry, do they have no
this
system or
at
do they
times
have the
this
best
season-
system?
At times this season, United have had to effectively revert to going very, very direct.
At
because-
times, yeah, but at times, Mitoma's like single-handedly beaten Liverpool. At times.
Okay, my time.
Go on,
My
Diggs,
time.
go on, Diggs.
But if you take Matoma at that Brighton side and play 30 games of Enciso, or you play more Solly March, I
Massive
think
drop-off.
Brighton still finish top 10. You take Rashford out of Man United side and play Anthony, Sancho, Alanga. They're just nowhere near the same
Garnacho.
level. They're nowhere near the same level across this
level
whole year.
of
And
goal-
yes,
goal scoring.
they might still finish above Brighton, even without Rashford, but compared to where they should be, it's a massive, massive drop.
Mitoma
I
just
think
does much
Mitoma
more
is
in a better side.
Basically, what I'm trying to say is
That's
Mitoma is
it.
more replaceable in his own side.
That's
and-
absolutely mental
and
because
Rashford-
Rashford does
that's
nothing
true.
except
I
score
don't-
goals.
He's had a great goal-scoring year.
He's had a good goal-scoring
He's
year.
nearly at 30.
He hasn't got 30 in the
He's
league. He's got
16
16
in the
This
league.
is the Premier League
But
team this
he's still got
season.
16
It's
in the
not how
league.
have they done in the fucking Europa League. No one cares about the Europa
16 in the
League.
league is more than, I don't know, Martinelli.
It's one more than Martinelli.
It's
is
still
it
more
not?
than Martinelli.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, but he's got fewer assists than Martinelli. Martinelli's got more
I'm not-
goal
but this
involvements in the
isn't
league.
about Martinelli
Tony's
versus
got more
Rashford.
goals
I'm
and
just-
assists in the league.
I agree, that's why I'd have
What about
Tony on the
Ollie
bench, same
Watkins?
way I
Let's put
I'd have
Ollie
Matoma.
Watkins in
Wait,
over
so, but
Rashford.
if
He's
you're-
done it in a
but
worse
if you're going
side.
off of just goal scoring, yeah.
It's not
If
just
it-
goal.
it is
No,
just
it
goal
is-
scoring.
it is
That's the only thing
carrying
you can
a
go-
team. It is carrying a team
With just goal
Matoma
scoring.
has
With
not
solely
carried
goal
Brighton.
scoring.
He's
He's done nothing
except
except
United.
score.
Is that carried by Rashford?
Is
He
that
hasn't.
the
He hasn't done
only
a single
way?
thing.
Is that the only way that you can get into a team? If you, because we've all said Brighton have been
I think we're
incredible.
being
this year.
delusional.
You've
if we're
got
saying Rashford is
Rashford.
only
Yeah, no, but
offering.
I've got to back Matoma.
You've
'cause
got
it was-
Rashford.
it was
That
actually is his
or
only
Matoma.
offering
It was
this
Rashford.
season.
It was Rashford
Change
or
your
Matoma.
front line to
It was
Matoma.
Rashford
So
or
your
Matoma.
front line would be Salah, Tony, Matoma.
Yeah, it was almost that.
I'll walk out the room.
It was almost that. You can walk then, because the reality is, it's a conversation. The fact is, these players have all been quality. Matoma is in a
always
side.
been better.
You can't tell me that
Comfortably.
you've not
Basically,
seen
what
more.
we've
I don't think
decided
it's
is
even
that you two
close.
would both change your boards and me and Joe wouldn't.
I never said I'd change my board.
Well, you changed from Kane to Tony.
That's bad.
You turn on Do Not Disturb.
Exactly.
In my defence, no one calls me. Yeah, like I wouldn't change my board. I wouldn't put Tony on. I'm just saying that like putting Tony on, it is a nice hat tip to a guy who's had a fantastic season and deserves a shout out.
Respect
Can I
to
just
But
say
like,
one more
I
thing,
would change
please,
my
Sir Zach?
formation to get in Tony or maybe Watkins before I put Rashford in.
The only thing I'm going to say is that you guys have been highlighting the goal scoring from Rashford, yeah? If we're just going to put forwards for goal scoring, we can do that. It's not just
When
about
did
the goal.
this suddenly this illusion
You
develop?
lot are
that
talking about
Rashford-
16, 30, almost 30, all
We're
of this
just- We're just
stuff.
naming his stats, but Rashford offers far more
No,
than
but
just
we
goal
can
scoring.
watch.
No,
We
he
can
doesn't.
watch.
He
We can
does.
watch.
Tell me what he
can-
offers this season
I
besides
don't
goal
know.
scoring.
His link up with Luke Shaw on the left is probably the strongest partnership at that side of any Premier League side.
That's
But-
an
but
absolutely
you've watched-
It's
insane
not.
claim.
Name a better comeback.
Zinchenko Martinelli.
I don't know whether that's necessarily better than Shaw and Rashford.
You're
It is,
absolutely
it is.
out of your
Come-
I
tree.
don't
Come
think
on,
it necessarily
What
is.
is going
I don't
on?
think it necessarily is.
What is going on?
Okay,
Everyone
okay,
can
enough.
say something.
Trent and
Enough.
and I'll leave it at that.
Enough. Point to Sam.
Thank you very much.
I like Ivan Toney.
Thank you.
Mate.
Worth.
Thank you very
Point to
much.
Sam.
What we've done
Point
is we've
to
made
Joe.
the underrated 11.
Point to Joe.
You need to
Point to
calm
Joe.
down.
Yeah, absolutely.
You didn't say anything in
And
that round.
Dougie should lose 5 points for his final shout.
Point to Pat.
He was the only one who did a point in that round.
I named the 11 that everyone agrees with. This is right.
Again,
Coward.
I would have gone all round, but I can't just give everyone the same point, otherwise it's pointless.
Yes.
Okay, our last one, guys. Manager of the season. Now, I want to stress, it isn't a manager to manage the side that you've made. It's the manager of the
Your
season.
achievement. This is going to get heated.
Yeah, because you are a f***ing idiot.
We've seen before.
The people have spoken. Managerial
we've seen
choices.
before. A little bit of context here. Dougie went on Saturday Social and may have previously given his answer.
let's see what he
towards
says.
This. Maybe he's changed his mind
Maybe he's
though.
changed his mind.
3, 2, 1. O'Neill, how? Dougie, take the floor.
Gary O'Neill.
Oh my
Respect
God.
Gary O'Neill. Okay, when he took over Bournemouth, they played 4 games of the year. They'd conceded 16 goals. They just lost 9-0 to Liverpool. Scott Parker said they were unmanageable. This is his first managerial job. The previous experience, he managed Liverpool under 23s and had been a coach at Bournemouth for 2 or 3 years. The guy had never managed a senior game. The guy has got Bournemouth into a position where they're not only safe, they could finish above Chelsea. He has done absolute wonders with the side that everyone.
That's easy, yeah.
Remember who's his,
We
by the way.
saw Bournemouth tweet out that video. Everyone. Joe, all the other mugs, they had Bournemouth 20. and he has got them in mid-table.
Did you have Bournemouth?
Did I say it publicly? No.
In fairness, where are Bournemouth's numbers? How do they rate in the Premier League?
Does it matter?
Well, it does a little bit.
It's done on the table.
Bit because you're
It's done
so
on-
inconsistent.
It's done on the table.
It's so inconsistent.
When there is
But they're
an
not the
achievement
reason.
as special as this, Bournemouth getting taken over mid-season by a manager
Don't care about
that
any of
never
it.
managed a game,
Mid-season,
with
4
the
games
club
in.
having a takeover. Some of his signings, whether it's club or his, Dango Ouattara, Matthias Viña, he has absolutely smashed it.
Yeah,
he
he
is
has.
the
He's
manager.
been incredible.
No,
No, he
he
hasn't.
has been
He
incredible.
has, Pat.
No, he hasn't.
No,
He has.
He hasn't.
What
No,
more
what
could he have
did you
done?
say?
They're still,
What
no,
did he say?
I just don't think it's down to it. I just
no,
think
but
it's like mostly luck.
No, what?
They're the worst. They're the worst.
Okay.
They're the worst team in the league by every possible metric.
Except for the actual table.
Okay, but you're the
Isn't
one.
that not an
you're the one who's
achievement on
like,
the
my
manager?
expected
Is
goals
that not-
against.
is that not
This
an
guy
achievement
should
on
be
the
in
manager?
the
I
team
agree.
of the season, and I don't want Eddie Howe in because he manages
Eddie
the
Howe
team
wouldn't
that
be in
I
my top
don't
five.
like.
But you know why?
Eddie
You know why?
Howe
You know
would
why it's
not
wrong?
be in my top 5.
That's an
I'm
extreme.
I'm sorry. Can we talk about
Should we
that
go-
for a second?
Let's talk about
But
it.
it's no, but you know why you're wrong because
They have the
you keep
potential
on- you
to
keep
drop
on-
out of the top 4 in a season in which Chelsea
They're not gonna
have
drop out
been
of the top
four.
woeful.
But you keep on
Liverpool,
saying- it don't
rubbish.
matter, it don't matter.
Spurs have gone through
but
3
dude,
managers.
you gotta
How
be
has done
fair.
the bare minimum with that squad?
You got to be fair. You're
Sorry,
talking
how
about
good about
O'Neill.
in terms of an overall
You're talking about
achievement?
O'Neill overachieving. You
I
were
actually
telling me
didn't even know who that was
you're
when he put
telling
it
me
down.
Newcastle being in the top 4, yeah, 2 games
In a season in which
2
3
games
of the
to
top
go.
6 have been terrible.
It doesn't matter.
Great.
But how can he predict that? You can't tell me that they're not one of the
not
hardest
saying
teams.
he's predicted
they,
it.
They are easily one
Aren't
of the
Liverpool
hardest
on a
teams
run
to
of
play
like
in
8
this
wins
league,
in a
bro.
row right now or something?
Yeah,
they are.
Newcastle.
No, Liverpool.
Liverpool, yeah.
Yeah, and he's still comfortably above them.
Yeah, because they've been terrible this year. It's not an achievement to be above these 3 sides in the top 6.
Yes,
it's just
it
not.
is.
But how-
Where did you have Newcastle at the start of the year?
They
Fifth,
was not
sixth?
in the top 6.
No, had
They
them
was
probably
not
like
in the
7th
top
or
7th.
8th. Yeah.
Fine.
had them
3 of
sixth.
those sides have been terrible. So what they've overachieved by? 1 place?
Yeah, but I just don't think that Bournemouth. It's down to O'Neill. I'd rather put it down to Billing. I put Billing as
I mean, if
manager
you
of the
go by
season. Like,
league
come on.
position overachievement on predictions, O'Neill probably is because he's gone 7 places up.
Yeah.
And
But it's
Howe
not
might
down to
climb
it.
I'd have,
2 or
it's not
1.
down
I'd
to
have
it.
Arteta or Pep above Howe.
But
Yeah, so would I.
of course,
But
I'd
we
have
can't-
Emery
we can't
or
pick
I'd
Howe.
have De Zerbi
We
above
can't pick
Howe.
Howe.
I
It's
think
anybody
Zerbi's
but Howe.
fair.
But
Well,
Howe...
Everyone's agreeing though.
No, I'm not.
No, I'm saying it's a
not.
reasonable shout. I'm not saying I agree with it.
No, well, we can't pick Arteta or Pep Guardiola because it's outside of those two. But I think what Howe has achieved, even outside of just jumping a place, in terms of how that team plays,
Exactly.
Yes.
has to be taken into account. It's the same way that even though Arteta's not going to win anything and he's going to finish second, like how Arsenal play have to be taken into account, and how Newcastle not only defend, counter-attack, press, how he's incorporated young players like Joe Willock into the team, Sven Botman into the team,
What he's got out
has
of
to
them
be
is
taken
crazy,
into
bro.
account.
I agree. I
and
think
you're
they've had a great year. I think they've had a great year. I think they've been fun to watch. They're my favourite Newcastle side ever, which is not saying much. But still, them finishing in the top 4 is less of an achievement, in my personal opinion, than Gary O'Neill not just making them safe, they could finish comfortably in mid-table. It's an incredible achievement in his first managerial job. How it's been backed with Bruno Guimaraes, Sven Botman, Alexander Isak, Kieran Trippier, Nick Pope. Unbelievable players, and people are like, "Oh, he's working wonders with absolutely nothing."
People didn't
These
think
are
that was
top
going to work,
players.
though.
He
People
got them-
didn't think that it was going to work.
I-
at
and
and the
Newcastle.
first half
Remember,
of the
if we
season
go back
was-
to the start of the year, I bet you had Newcastle in around 7th and 8th, and 3 of the sides above them that you would have predicted have been terrible this year.
But that-
it's just not a
but that's
crazy
not on-
achievement
that's-
to get
But there
them
was
into the
but there
top
was a
4.
massive stretch of the season where him getting elite production out of Almiron was what was getting them into the top 4.
I agree.
That is amazing.
Because there weren't enough goals from the round of the rest of the team at that stage. I don't think Newcastle even played that good of football for the first 3-4 months of the season.
Well, I don't think they play like the best football in the league, but they play a coherent style, which
But
is entirely
surely
down to
Gary
how
O'Neill
they are one
deserves
of the
more
best.
respect than Eddie Howe.
Well, no, he
Why?
doesn't, because he hasn't done anything. He's coaching the worst side in the league.
And he's got them
Oh
into
my
mid-table,
God.
Pat. If you
He hasn't. He hasn't got them
has.
into mid-table.
Who
He
has
hasn't
then?
got them into
Who's
mid-table.
in charge on the
A bit of luck.
touchline?
Why do you just think that it's all down to the guy
Why
on the
do you think
touchline?
it's nothing to do with him?
I don't, because I think that they're still the worst side in the league by
But
every possible
whether
metric.
you think that or not, they are in mid-table.
No, but
for
they're
some
playing like the worst side in
Are
the
they?
league. Yes.
Are they?
Look at literally every metric.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Gauntlet is down.
Oh, God.
Point to Dougie Critchley.
Thank you very much. I rest my case.
That's
He was always, I can tell you that, he was always going to get that point.
I have
It
to
was-
say though, I think
he
he
did.
made a really
I actually think he
coherent
argued his
case.
case
He did,
very
he
well.
did.
No, I don't
but
think
I
he
feel
did.
like
I think he's like,
whatever
they're
he's
better
rating,
than
whatever
you
he's
thought
rating
they'd be.
O'Neill for, he's not rating Howe for, because you're saying he overachieved, but you're not saying How's
The gauntlet's gone down.
His
No
point is
more
not
trying some of the
talking
best young players
about
in Europe.
Eddie
I'll put
Howe.
Hodgson and Emery over right now.
Okay, I'm going to.
Especially Hodgson.
I'm
number one.
going to talk with my officials and find out who has won. We're at the end of the video. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you want to see more team talks, then make sure you let us know in the comments below. We can try and do this as regularly as we can going forward. Okay. Bottom on 4 points is Sam Abasaki.
Come on.
Really?
It is.
That's because I had, you know.
You fought well, Sale. but,
Tough. You did. You did do very
I
well.
thought
I
you took some hard
appreciated.
positions.
I appreciated a lot of your.
We try, man.
I appreciated a lot of your shouts. Okay, going into third,
Oh my god.
Joe Tomlinson on 5.
Robbed because I think most of my shouts were correct and
thought you might have
didn't
won.
get any points.
Again, wasn't necessarily about the shouts.
No,
Yeah, fair point.
And at the top of the table, holding hands, even though they were very close to fighting each other at the end, it's Patrick and Dougie on 6
In fairness,
points.
Doogie's operating like at a high level of tension today.
Understandable.
and you can
Understandable.
tell, you can tell.
He knows the
Understandable.
game, man. He knows the game. I
Boys.
know what he did today, man. He started controversial from the start.
Really
That
good,
was
really
straight.
good. But it doesn't matter. Like the shouts necessarily aren't the thing. It's how you guys are debating. Let us know who you guys think should have won in the comments below. Let us know what topics we should be debating as well in the comments below. And who knows, maybe we'll do it very, very soon. If you guys have enjoyed, then click the like button, subscribe to Football Daily, and we'll see you very soon. Bye, guys. Or say bye. Is what I'm going to say.
Later.
Bye.